And don't be surprised if this becomes a co-governorship. First Lady Ann Gus Brown intimately involved in the campaign. Alan, in the words of the National Weather Service, Lobertini, you're in the middle of a doozy. A bizarre story out of South Sacramento tonight. A cleanup crew going through a foreclosure home made a chilling discovery. And we're going to zoom in on that green van right there. That's what the suspect was driving. And university employees swear that red brick building over there is haunted. And next to the president himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger's speech may be the most anticipated appearance of this convention. Did you settle for less?
Negative, negative, negative. Look at you.
It comes off that hill, it'll be coming like a freight train.
Let's go. We got to get out of here. Well, guys, Kevin Smith's Twitter war on Southwest Airlines continues at this hour. This is what his Twitter page looks like over the past couple of hours. And it seems the Hollywood director is all the more steamed because he claims he bought as many as 10 tickets on Southwest in just the past week.
I can't even believe I'm having this conversation with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I'm fat, but I'm not fat enough to have this conversation.
Kevin Smith followed up 50 angry tweets with an hour-long rant on the internet Sunday night.
What's the name of the pilot? And she's like, I'm sorry? I was like, with the pilot who said I was too fat to fly. She's like, nobody said that. And I was like, why am I off the plane then?
Oh, my God.
And she's going, nobody said you were fat.
The 39-year-old director who took this picture while on the plane was asked to get off a Southwest flight in Oakland because the pilot considered him a safety risk. Smith later tweeted, I'm way fat, but I'm not there just yet. Southwest Airlines measures whether a customer is too large to fly based on the passenger's ability to lower both armrests while sitting in their seat. Within hours of Smith's Twitter assault, Southwest Airlines offered an apology on both Twitter and with a personal phone call, according to the company's website. Smith is a rising star in Hollywood. He's best known for directing the low-budget cult hit Clerks. But Southwest also noted Mr. Smith originally purchased 2 seats on a flight from Oakland to Burbank, as he's been known to do when traveling on Southwest.
You don't ever treat a paying customer like that. Ever, 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 ever.
Smith, it seems, tried to get on an earlier flight, and Standby offered only 1 seat. But Silent Bob, as he's known in some of his movies, isn't keeping mum about this. Now, Smith's exact dimensions are unknown, but a recent New York Times article put him somewhere in the neighborhood of 230 pounds. But to that, Smith responded, if I were 230, I'd be celebrating. Now, Rick and Terry, Southwest did give Smith a $100 voucher, and he did make it to Burbank on a later flight. But this guy lives in Hollywood, and you get the feeling this may just be the beginning. And as if the search for victims wasn't difficult enough, police now find themselves dealing with looters. Jamie Chambers now continues our team coverage tonight from San Bruno. And Jamie, I know the area is hilly, it's dark, there's plenty of cover for thieves.
We'll send it back to you, Donna and John.
Well, you know, and sadly, Jamie, this is going to be one of those situations where we may not know for days and weeks the full extent of the damage. So thank you very much tonight from San Bruno. Now, Sacramento and the surrounding area has had its share of natural gas leaks. Just this past Wednesday, Sac Metro firefighters evacuated 40 apartments and closed a large section of Madison Avenue and Foothill Farms. It's hard to forget these images from Christmas almost 2 years ago. An explosion rocked a Rancho Cordova neighborhood, killing one man and severely burning his daughter and granddaughter. Chris Beal is live now in Rancho Cordova. And Chris, I'll bet this blast in the Bay Area brings up a lot of painful memories in that neighborhood. We are going to take a break from all this and talk about the weather.
Yes, because it will affect everyone this week. We get the nice, cool nights regardless.
That is good stuff.
Yes.
All right, Christina. Well, is your mechanic about to take you to the cleaners? Well, whether or not, coming up, we will show you a cool website that may keep you from getting ripped off the next time you go in for car repairs. The finish line is at the state capitol. Well, let's go now to Jim Crandall, our very own speed racer, with a look at how the cyclists are preparing for the big day. Speedy?
All right, here's what you and I are going to do, John.
Well, she is the biggest star in the Republican Party, drawing big crowds no matter where she goes. That's why Cal State Stanislaus thought Sarah Palin would be the perfect speaker for a summer fundraiser. But, and there's always a but with all the recent budget cuts, many wonder, how can the school possibly afford Palin?
Yeah, and there's a good reason why they're wondering. Hello, everyone. We are following some breaking news out of Auburn, where a fire and explosion has forced the evacuation of an apartment complex.
It's all happening on Gateway Court at the Auburn Court Apartments. About an hour ago, a neighbor called 911, telling the dispatcher they'd seen an explosion and then someone jumping out of a window. Right now, we know they've evacuated at least part of the complex, and authorities say at least 3 people are injured.
Still don't know.
Daniel, can you describe the scene at this hour? Have you had to block off streets? What's the situation look like? And John, first I've got to ask you, how does a guy with 2 years in Congress, a Muslim name, and African American win a primary by such a big margin and get your paper's endorsement?
Well, we had a chance to talk with him.
John Lobertini on this governor's fundraising frenzy.
See, we're here to sweep out the special interests.
On the campaign trail, Arnold Schwarzenegger promised voters he would be different. But no one could have imagined Schwarzenegger would become the most aggressive fundraising governor in California history.
He now has 6 active fundraising committees.
Political watchdog group Common Cause has been tracking the governor's activities. Jim Knox says these folders include a recall fundraising committee, 4 ballot measure committees, and a 2006 re-election committee.
He is a credible threat anytime he wants to say that he's going to do an initiative. So this really does greatly enhance his leverage with the legislature.
The money is coming from companies like those that specialize in workers' compensation insurance, real estate developers, and business moguls like the owners of the Sacramento Kings basketball team. Special interest groups, some would argue, with huge stakes in the issues facing the governor. Schwarzenegger's staff, though, bristles at the notion.
Well, the governor has not taken any money from people who he sits across the table from and with whom he negotiates. The governor cannot be bought.
But in the 4 months since the recall election, the actor-turned-politician has taken in $7.9 million. It took Gray Davis, the so-called pay-for-play governor, his first 6 months in office to raise $6.3 million.
America is truly the land of opportunity.
And a fundraising event later this month in New York, hosted by a pharmaceutical company executive, could bring in a staggering $500,000 a couple. And people are noticing. In this political cartoon, you see a caricature of Schwarzenegger holding 2 bags of money and muttering the word amateur as he glares at a picture of Gray Davis.
Once he puts his name behind an issue, he's got to buy the media time to support it.
Gotta, because taking politics to the people by ballot measure is expensive. Barbara O'Connor is the head of the Institute for the Study of Politics and Media.
And the minute people start perceiving him as the same old politician, doing the same thing as everybody else that he criticizes, he loses his moral suasion. He really does.
Campaign disclosures manuals C, D, and E.
The Fair Political Practices Commission refused to comment, but here's the law. Individual donors can give no more than $21,200 to an election campaign. They can and do, however, write much bigger checks for ballot measures like Propositions 57 and 58.
Resolve our fiscal crisis.
Watchdog groups say Schwarzenegger is moving money to and from as many as 3 committees. That's why the contributors disclosed in this ad are the committees themselves. In most cases, voters will never know who's actually making donations.
I haven't seen anything that the governor is doing illegal.
But Common Cause worries political favors may be piling up.
These interest groups generally don't make contributions of 6 figures unless they're looking for some sort of payback.